their lakes back on May 19th. One thing I'd like to point out right away is I'm here because I've been blocked on the Four Lakes Task Force Facebook page. And I brought that to Mr. Vernier's attention, and nothing's changed, I'm still blocked on it. Did you ever ask any questions as to why I was blocked?
I did ask if you were blocked, and they said yes. They didn't give me the answer from them.
Because I asked questions. So, anyways, my second question is, you hired an attorney, Scott Howard, to look into the finances of the Four Lakes Task Force and their handling of the dam situation. Did you guys ever get a response?
We contacted him. We did not get a response.
Did we get our money back?
We didn't pay him anything.
Oh, I thought you guys paid him with the tobacco.
You were
fund.
incorrect in that assumption.
Okay, no, I was told that, I'm sorry, I apologize, that's what I was told. On January of this year, did Four Lakes Operation take over the power assets of Boise Hydro?
What was that question?
Four Lakes Operations, did they take over the operations part, the acquired part of the power assets?
Not to my current understanding, no.
That was reported in the newspaper, that's why I'm asking.
No, a lot of things were reported in the newspaper.
Well, I'm asking, since they're your delegated authority, I would think that somebody here would know.
I'm on the board, and to the best of my recollection, that is currently in bankruptcy court right now, and no, we have not taken that over.
No. In January
Mhm.
of this year,
Mhm.
was Four Lakes Operations, did they acquire the power assets, and were they running the power
No.
assets
No.
as of
No.
January?
No.
Thank you.
Is the Four Lakes operation even, is there a Four Lakes operation at this time?
There isn't.
There was a
No.
paper entity called Flow that was
Right.
designed to
Right.
do that at some point, which we may
But
not,
it's not even,
correct, it's not functioning right now.
okay, that's what I thought.
May in the
So-
future, but it's not functioning right now.
Well, so she knows that, I mean,
Thank you. So is at this very moment, the SAD still the same as it was prior to May 19th, 2020?
Okay, if I can address that, the special assessment district, the potential on the methodology on how it was going to be rolled out after public hearings, after approval by both Midland and Gladwin County Commissioners, that methodology after the flood has totally gone and is being changed and reworked. That methodology will hopefully come out sometime as we move closer into December or into 2021.
So it's gonna go back to the court?
No, that's where the initial methodology that they're developing right now at Four Lakes Task Force, I'm not on that committee, at some point will be rolled out, and then there will be public meetings, and then it will also go to the county commissioners before anything is moved forward.
are you talking about the complete district or the dollar amount?
All of them?
The
Because
special assessment district is currently in effect as it was before.
a special
Can I
assessment,
say? I think that you should give us some, I don't think we should have to answer everything right now.
No, one of
You
the
know what I mean?
things, I want you to,
honestly, you should be able to give us, so we could research our questions and not just think we wanna
that's
make sure
right,
we
I
give
would
it.
really like the opportunity to be able to ask Four Lakes Task Force personally, but since they blocked me.
Right,
I'm-
but I mean, if you give us your questions or read them off or give us a copy of them, then we can.
Are you guys recording this through your clerk, since she's on?
yes, hopefully
Yeah.
she's hearing the
Okay.
question. One of the things I want you to draw your attention to the fact that I do use a timer. Okay, and so when it gets
So,
to
do I get
zero,
my time back from you guys taking my time while you're discussing my time?
we're answering you.
So we need to listen to the questions and then get back to it.
Yeah.
I have seen the formulation that Four Lakes Task Force is using to put in the new SAD, and according to the calculations that the Four Lakes Task Force has provided, when this happens, my value of my property will go to zero. And looking up what a SAD does, it's supposed to benefit me, and it's supposed to make my property more valuable. So at this point, a special assessment is gonna charge me for a lake I don't have to get back the lake I used to have. It's gonna take my property values to zero, my other property, which is an empty, unbuildable lot, will be in the negative. So according to special assessment districts, that's not even possible, so I would like to see it end up back in the court. The reservoir that currently sits at Tobacco River right now has been deemed a potential hazard in the future by the EGLE, even though there's an empty lake below it that they're so afraid it's going to flood it. And back in May 1st of this year, they sued the dam owner for $300 million for lowering the dam on the lake for 2 consecutive winters to do inspections. And they were gonna charge him this $300 million if he didn't bring the lake level back up, so he was forced to do so. Now those same people are telling me that they need to take my reservoir down, which is gonna kill more of my muscles, which it really just, I'm very saddened by the death of my muscles. So I wanna know, how does the hypocrisy work that they're gonna sue the dam owner for the death of the mussels and protect them, and then turn around and take away my reservoir, which will kill the mussels, and also potentially, and it has been said, will lower the lake level and the water table enough that people on the Tobacco River side will lose their wells. And if that happens, FEMA currently is paying for wells over on the Secord Dam area, but it's only been extended for a short period of time. In the future, when they take down the Tobacco Dam, who's going to pay for our wells?
There is a provision, I can tell you, I sat on that committee, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That you need to get a hold of our emergency manager, and you can still register for wells through the end of the month, I believe. Even though you've not got problems now, because of the uniqueness of this situation, they will look at it, if you lose your well in 6 months, they're gonna look at it at that point.
Well, I'm glad that I asked this question, because how else would I find that information out?
Yeah.
Nobody sends us any letters, nobody puts out any information
They've been
to us.
putting them out along, I don't know where they go, but,
Not
the
to me.
emergency manager and the clerk have been putting them out all along, but that's the office you need to call on that.
I appreciate that most of us don't live within the county. Our properties that we own are second homes, so we don't get this information, and that seems to be another problem that we have. People are not getting informed, and the only information that I can ascertain is through webinars and through their Facebook page.
If
and
you,
I
if you
have
contact the
blocked.
emergency manager, he has all of that information on what FEMA will cover and what they won't cover, and unfortunately, we don't have any control over that. Joel, you've been in
Point of
I will be
clarification.
very happy
We
to
should
give
let
you
her answer
the
the
greatest
question.
resource
Thank you.
about the wells, because the Gladwin Record has done it every week and puts that information normally on the front page.
And point of clarification, if you're not a permanent resident, FEMA will not cover the wells.
And that is their regulations, nothing to do with the state or local authorities
So
at
then I
this
would
point.
have to sue the state individually if they lower the level down to cause me to lose my
Right,
well.
Eagle is a state organization, they're the
We
ones
need to
ordering
research some of these
that,
answers and see, just
yeah.
instead of taking her time.
Okay,
on
we should get a
Kelly,
copy of
I
all
see
her
your time
questions.
is up, excuse me?
Probably should get a copy of all of her
Yeah,
questions.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
If you would do that, give us a copy of the questions that you have. We appreciate the fact that you have come here, and thank you, because, we get in and sit in hundreds of meetings during these things, but I will tell you, as far as information right off the top, the Gladwin Record has done a superb job of covering this, and they're doing a really, really good job. I had just taken that off his desk, it was left on his desk, and that's why I picked it up out of the trash can, but that gives you information.
Okay.
Kelly, can I copy what you have? Does that work?
Sure.
Can she have my time?
Spell your last name.
Pardon me?
Can she have my time?
I didn't know you wanted time.
Raise your hand.
I'll bring it right back to you, Kelly.
Sure. Thanks, Gail.
You're welcome.
Kelly, how do you spell your last name?
B as in boy, A as in apple, X as in X-ray.
Okay, if we've had an opportunity to review your questions, you are more than welcome to come back, and we will try to make sure that you get responses from us. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Yes, sir?
Yes, can she have my time?
If it's the continued questions, we're not gonna be able to answer them without looking at what you have first. Is
The,
that
the
where you-
next question I have, the person that I'm gonna ask that question to is sitting directly in the room. I spoke with Joel on the phone, and I want it on the record, and I wanna know if it's fact. I was told that if any lawsuits are successfully rendered against the counties or against Four Lakes Task Force or Four Lakes Operations, that will come back on the people from the SAD as a debt. And let's hope that the judges take that into consideration when they rule. Was that not what you told me?
That is well, I'm trying to I mean, with the conversation we had was a while ago. I've had tons of conversations. There is the potential, if Four Lakes was found to be a problem, that there is insurance involved and things like that for the Four Lakes Task Force. So I'm not a lawyer, I can't definitively answer that question, but that's the only money that's available for Four Lakes Task Force is in the Special Assessment District.
But you specifically said that if there is any lawsuit brought against the Four Lakes Task Force or the FLO or the counties, that it would fall back on the SAD, and let's hope the judges think about that when they render their decision.
Let him look at that and get back with the right people maybe,
Yeah.
and then
Well,
answer
that's-
the questions, you know.
Since he sits on the board, I thought,
Well-
and he said that to me specifically.
I understand
He
what
made
you're
that
saying.
statement,
I
or
understand.
statement.
I understand what you're saying, but like he says, he's in a lot of meetings, we wanna make sure that we give you the correct answer.
Okay, well, I know that you guys had to re-evaluate in June, and you accepted to take Four Lakes Task Force back on as your delegated authority. Is there a reason why you had to redo the delegated authority for Four Lakes Task Force at that time?
I don't, we
If I
didn't,
remember right, you were the only one that did not want to go forward to do the condemnation.
I would have to go back to the minutes and see what that discussion was. I'm sorry.
Well, it just saddens me that you guys have made Four Lakes Task Force your delegated authority, and they're not here, so I can't get answers directly, and like I said, since I've been blocked, I can't ask those questions.
Have you gone to their meetings?
They do their meetings by webinar. I would be more than happy to go to their meetings. I have done the webinars, I have asked questions, I have snapshots of all the answers. I have answers from 2 individuals at each one, and every time their answers are different from each other. So there lies confusion, and I can't get a answer to who's right in their answers because it's all through typing, and then their webinars are over and they're done. I do know that after I went to the Midland County Commissioners meeting last week, that I was contacted by a Dave Rothman, and I do go to the Wixom Lake Association meetings, and I have brought up all these questions there, and I bring the Four Lakes Task Force print-offs with me, and the information that I receive at the Wixom Lake Association is told, well, we don't know, we're not sure, look at the Four Lakes Task Force stuff, and then they tell me what I'm saying is not correct, but I'm reading exactly what is on the Four Lakes Task Force website. So and it's printed off. So it's very confusing for us, the homeowners. And I have a letter here from one of the other homeowners. To the Gladwin County Board of Commissioners, I give my time to Kelly Bax. As a property owner directly affected by the levee collapse, I have no choice but to become active in what is you as elected officials are doing to remedy the current state of affairs, including the direction you're taking the county in as a whole. The handling of the dam condition has been disastrous. There is no doubt the culpability of the collapse lies directly with Four Lakes Task Force, who acted as a sole operator for 6 months along with everyone that signed a resolution to make this organization the sole point of direction for all of you to follow. As elected officials, you have colluded together with Four Lakes Task Force to undermine any and all constituents' input while working a false narrative to further yourselves personally while penalizing a small group of taxpayers under the unlawfully created special assessment district. The direction you chosen relative to the dams before and after the levee breach of May 19, 2020, was under a broad consensus that no county citizen or property owner agreed with. Currently, I can't find one person that says, oh yeah, we need to buy those dams. You have placed the county in a position that's beyond your ability to manage, and the point that your own personal elected representative, Dave Kepler, is now in question, and you are all just scrambling to save face. You sank the ship. I say this wholeheartedly after reading all the case files for the month of September regarding condemnation. The direction to move forward was foolish advice you all agreed with, even with legal counsel. As of now and in the future, your goal for eminent domain or condemnation is nothing but jokes to the legal community and you as representatives. Your decisions represent personal vanity, not the will of constituents. There are 4 large law firms in separate jurisdictions laughing at you while you attempt to frivolously seizure of what's not yours. So I say, from here forward, it's time to divest your personal investments and interests from 4 Lakes Task Force and remove them as any form of alleged delegated authority and move the county into a better position with federal experts that have already mitigated this type of damage. David Kepler has not and will never be your savior. Your decision to allow a single source authority directive and operations from a group that has never worked with infrastructure has led to the disaster we are all suffering under. Own it, you created it, your name is on the resolution. Now it's October, constituents are living in campers and wells have dried up. Midland commissioners gave themselves a raise and you proposed a half-wit idea to lower the existing water levels. Clearly that means more wells will dry up. At $10,000 a shot for each well, the taxpayers are going to have to pay $9,500, or 9,500 residents times 10,000, that's $95 million, plus or minus 50% with the Kepler method. Again, I will reiterate, you need to divest from the concept of any special assessment district for a federal disaster fix. Dissolve the current special assessment district. Remove 4 Lakes Task Force from the county bank accounts, hold them accountable for spent monies, and dissolve this unlawful delegated of authority. As a government body, you need to fire your legal counsel because there are 4 large firms that are going to hold you personally responsible regardless of the legal language that you think is going to keep you safe from personal lawsuits. That was from Joe Stanton. Then I have one from
Wait a
Steph.
minute, that's not public comment, I'm reading somebody else's letter.
Okay,
It was personally
Okay,
given to me, and it says here, I give Kelly back my representation in today's meeting.
okay, what I will tell you is you have now used your husband's 5 minutes. So if you would like to give those letters to our secretary, she can make copies so we have them, and they can go on the record for that. But unless you have something different to come up with, we are moving on with our business.
I will just make one statement. When President Trump says he's gonna drain the swamp will come all the way back to the 4 lakes.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Yes, in the back row?
I'd like my 2 minutes.
Would you, you have to come up close and state your name, please.
My name is Wayne Stover.
Wayne
Stover,
Stover,
Yeah.
Stover.
yes.
Thank you.
I'm a state representative for the Michigan State Building Trades Association,
Okay.
all skilled trades union company. I just have a question for you. When you put the 4 Lakes Task Force into, I guess, in charge to represent you against Voice Hydro, did anyone investigate Mueller before, or not Mueller, Kepler, before you put him in charge? Did anybody check his background? Did he come to you volunteering, or did you appoint him? How did that take place?
All of this went back, and I am the only person sitting here that can speak to this, because I am the only person who was on the board at the time that happened. He came as the volunteer to do that, and Midland County had accepted him in that position, and then they came to us to ask Gladwin County to join in with that. That happened back in 2017. I can tell you a lot of the discussion I was not privy to because members of the former board were the ones that handled that.
Okay, all right. Did anyone know that he is, a huge donor to Midland
Oh,
County?
yes.
Politicians?
Yes.
To anyone that's in Midland that has, good standing, he donates to them? And that he bailed out Boyce Hydro on the Sanford Dam?
That's correct.
So don't you think that's a conflict of interest if he has ties with Boyce Hydro and he helped fund the Sanford Dam when Boyce Hydro couldn't pay for it? He gave them money to pay for all that, to pay my contractors? Wouldn't that be a conflict of interest for him being involved in this since he's in Mueller's back pocket?
When you go back in the minutes, I will tell you that most of the votes, because there were 5 people on the board, most of the votes that dealt with this were 3-2. Chuck Hinman and I were on the 2, and we were always, didn't make any difference. It was something yes, we would lose. If it was something no, we would lose. That was arranged, and that particular reason was my disgruntlement with that organization. But that's how it came, and in 2017, that was what the former board voted to do, and so that's where we are.
And what would it take for you to take the authority away from Fort Lake Task Force?
At this point in time, I am going to be done with my term of service December 31, okay? So that's not a question that I'm going to answer for me, but I will, my opinion is right now that we're into this, and Gladwin County does not have the money to pay the huge powers that be that are needed. And I'm sorry, but that's where I am.
And has anyone looked at maybe proposing a millage for counties to help pay for the dam, seeing that 80% of all the people in these communities use the lake? They may not live on it, but they use it. We send kids to school, or we pay for the schools in the areas. I don't have any children who go to school here, and
Where
they
did you
never
get
go.
the 80%?
The 80% is, well, you look around the communities, you talk to other people that use the lakes for fishing and boating and swimming and all, but they don't live on it, so why
Yeah, but I
should we
don't
take
know.
the blunt?
I don't know what you're calling 80%.
80% was the amount that was given to Gladwin versus the whole of the SAD. 80% of the SAD is made up of Gladwin residents, where only 20% of the SAD is made up of Sanford
That is
Lake.
because of the number of locations around the lakes. The fact that Gladwin has 3, Midland has 1.
And Gladwin benefits from those tax dollars for those 3
And
lakes.
we understand that, but, okay, have we answered your questions and give you a little bit more frustration to have at the back?
I'll dig into it deeper.
Thank you very much, I do appreciate that.
When you brought up the finances earlier, I know you guys agreed in that, you didn't ask for any input from the public. One question I have about finances, since you've made Four Lakes Task Force a delegated authority, when they donated $1 million to the state of Michigan for the protection of clams, did they have to get your permission when they donated that $1 million? And where did that $1 million come from?
Joe?
Well, again, we would want to have that question in writing to look at. My understanding is that,
It's in the
again, my
paper.
recollection, and since I don't have things in writing, it could be wrong, but my recollection was that they had committed to work with the studies for the mussels over a period of time. There was no $1 million donation that I'm aware of, but the cost could get up to $1 million over a period of years as they're doing those studies.
I've seen that donation put out there in the public. That's why I brought it up. That $1 million would have been better used to fix the dam on the Tobacco River side that would have saved more mussels. So that $1 million would have been better
We are-
spent. But I just wanted to know if you guys have to give them authority or if they are working on all of their own authority as far as money that comes out of the Four Lakes Task Force that goes towards the dams? Or do they have to get permission from you guys prior to doing so?
We have to be notified what's going on. I'll leave it at that. Are there any other public comments? Lavelle?
Okay, I'm gonna stand right over here. 2020's been quite a year. The Festival of the Lakes Christmas Parade, and I'm a representative of them. 5 ladies are at work. Lori Stout was here with me earlier. And, we had to cancel the Christmas parade per se, but we're having a City of Lakes festival to make up for it because, you know, there was people that was really sad. We need something happy in our community right now. Well, we all talked, Bill and I do the tree lighting here in Gladwin, we've done it for several years, but we also get involved in the Christmas parade. Well, every year there is a grand marshal for the Christmas parade, and, this past week, Sharon was chosen as the grand marshal of our City of Lights Festival. So, Lori Stout had a meeting and had to leave. We presented Sharon with